Hi, my name is Sebastian Zilliacus. I'm the General Manager of Cardano Clan. I'm from Sweden originally, but I've lived in Singapore for about 14-15 years. Yeah. So I come from a very small village outside of Gothenburg in Sweden. As I said, it's small, it's about 3,000 people population. So there's a lot of freedom as a kid being out in the countryside, playing around in nature, which is something that I still enjoy. My main responsibility as a general manager of Cardano Clan is to create a virtual home for the Cardano ecosystem, where they can really interact with each other and help each other to grow the ecosystem. My day-to-day responsibilities is really to support and help my team to achieve it. I spent most of my career in startup industry, driving companies from 0 to 1, and I've been fortunate enough to be part of companies that have been driven into publicly listed entities. I feel have been working in social networking business throughout my career and driving users to different kind of products. It's very difficult to create that kind of ecosystem with a loyal base. And that is something that I found remarkably true with the Cardano ecosystem. They are very, very supportive. They help each other, which is something that is very unique, I would say. Now, building products within that environment is something that I can see that they have a big passion for. Coming from the Web2 world, though, I would say that it's very important to match that kind of passion with real problems in the industry or industries to be able to solve people's fundamental problems. And that is really important that we focus on as an industry itself. It was actually due to Popeye, our CEO. So he introduced me more into the Cardano ecosystem and the blockchain itself. Directly after Popeye sort of introduced me to Cardano and shared more information about it. And that also links back to the fundamental principles of Cardano, trying to do financial inclusion, specifically in emerging markets, helping the society on the ESG front and so forth. I went in and bought ADA and then downloaded Yoroi wallet and stored it there. So I've been interacting or following Cardano community on the different social media platforms like Twitter, for example, but it's the first time that I really interact face to face with the Cardano ecosystem, and I really love it. I mean, they are so positive towards what we are doing, so looking forward to support them continuing with that positivity. So Cardano blockchain will be used or interacted with by majority of the world's population, utilizing products, services, or different kind of portals. So I think every single industry have their own challenges, and it's very important for us as both Cardano, but generally across a blockchain industry, crypto industry, to really look into the different kind of use cases that each one of those industries has. And by looking at that, we can then start to solve those kind of problems. Web3 has many different aspects to it. Cardano can solve many of them, and we really need to be focused on looking into what it can solve. Based on my experience, new technologies is something that is actually have a higher adoption rate in emerging markets. Due to the fact that they haven't gone through the different levels of technology. So they always look at the latest technology out there. So from an adoption rate, emerging markets would have a higher chance to implement it, and they are more interested in about it. Developed markets also have more structures, more processes in place, which may delay the adoption rate of it. But it's very interesting to be part of working both helping the emerging markets as well as developed markets to find a commonality between the two, and potentially also take technologies that we do on Cardano in developed markets and implement it in emerging. But I also see that there is a possibility to do the opposite. I think what's really important is for us as an industry, not only Cardano, is to be able to educate Web2 companies, whether that is multinational and private companies, on what purpose blockchain and cryptocurrency can serve. And that is something as an industry we need to be better at. And that is specifically to educate and perhaps also even dumb down the language a little bit, to make sure that we speak the same kind of language with the people that currently utilizing Web 2 technologies. Companies don't need to build a product where everything is on chain. So I think it's really important also that we need to take one step into the Web 2 industry to look at, and going back to the use cases, there could be a particular functionality and feature within a whole product that makes sense to actually utilize Cardano blockchain. And that is how I believe that we can sort of penetrate the Web 2 world, that we are not asking them to do a massive shift from their existing technologies into the new Web 3 technologies, but make a hybrid version to utilize the technology where it best are suited. Okay, so that's why I mean with different kind of industries would have different use cases where the blockchain can be used. So e-commerce, for example, the traceability of the logistics side, the supply chain, is something that is really, really valuable for it. What you can also do is authenticity of those kind of products, which is really important, is something that end customer would value quite a lot. There is also another aspect of it, and that goes back into the traceability of the produce to produce the product itself. So some people want to really understand, like, okay, from which country did this sort of ingredient come from an ESG point of view, as well as from a pure personal point of view as well. Yeah. I definitely believe that they have to. So it's more about that the industry and the world have changed over the 3 different levels. So you have Web 1.0, which is more one-way communication. So the enterprises tells what they are doing to the customer, and that's it. Web 2 was more about interacting with each other, so the end customer has a possibility to actually come back with comments, feedback on the company. And I think Web 3.0 still has that portion of dual interaction, but we're utilizing a different kind of technology that can help other parts of the business. So I don't see Web 3.0 as a completely different way of how you communicate with customers, because the customers today are so used to being able to interact with companies and enterprises through different ways of feedback mechanism. And that is not something that goes away. Actually, it might even be even more that they need to. So enterprises today have to evolve and get used to be able to have customers' need of interacting with them. And there will be, of course, both positive and negative kind of feedback, depending on what kind of perspective you are looking at it. And that is something that enterprises today have to tackle. So I think currently also with Web 2 companies, they don't really understand how to utilize this Web 3 technologies. And they more see that, okay, we have to go from one set of technologies completely to a different set of technologies. And that's not what we should sell, is not how we should approach them. It's more like, okay, there are parts of your existing technology that can be done better with Web3 technologies. So if we just change one of the technologies, you remain the same across. So that technology can improve productivity, it can do authenticity, it may actually create a business model for the enterprises, but it does not necessarily need to create a business model, but it can make more efficient companies instead. So I think we have to look at it from different kind of aspects depending on what kind of enterprise and what kind of industry that we are targeting. Well, I'm really honored to be part of the Cardano community. We definitely want to support what you need, and we will not be able to do this either as EMURGO or yourself. We need to really work together to build the whole Cardano ecosystem and to grow outside of where we are today.